mentioned SOHP. I think probably worthwhile me saying at the outset, some of you may or may not be aware that that one area in Devon applied for a judicial review into the CCG's decision to consolidate beds onto fewer sites. It went up to a judge to be looked at, and the application for a judicial review was refused. It then went again to an appeal, and last week that appeal was held, and the original decision was upheld that the applicants can't proceed to a judicial review. So, so far as the CCG is concerned, we've already implemented our plans to consolidate beds. I do appreciate there are some strong views inside this room and outside this room about hospital beds, but I think now the purpose of this group is to focus on the hub, focus with what we've got in Crediton Hospital, and to be honest, I don't really want discussions about beds to be occurring in this meeting, because I think it is going to detract from what we can achieve. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm happy for people to come back at me, but I do feel strongly that the decision's been made, and if people want to have discussions about beds in Crediton Hospital, that's fine, but this isn't the forum to...
No, we have a meeting arranged.
Fine.
On the 18th of March, 10 o'clock, in the council chamber.
I just wanted to raise a query. The hospital were asked if that meeting could be held here, and that request was refused. Could I just ask at what level that decision was made not to allow the meeting to take place here? Because an alternative approach would have been to send ask if a representative could be sent to the meeting.
A representative of what, sorry? No.
The establishment. Northern Devon, presumably.
Well, I spoke to Frank.
You did, that's right.
When he came and requested a room, and I had received instruction that Northern Devon Healthcare Trust and the CCG were both progressing towards developing a home and meetings to discuss.
So it was they who told you that the request ought to be refused?
That's the information I had, yes.
Right.
So, as I said,
the important thing is, when you say they, if you mean North Devon Healthcare Trust, that's we from my point of view, because I'm employed by North Devon Healthcare Trust.
Right.
So, we, North Devon Healthcare Trust, not they.
That's Maggie's motion.
I know they might be North Devon Healthcare Trust through Barnstable, but actually we here are all employed by them.
Yes, I
This site is managed by
but
the Healthcare Trust.
the decision was not made just by staff on the site here.
Oh no. The reception staff had been advised that if any requests were made of that nature, that they were to ask me.
Thanks very much, that's very clear.
okay. And so, can I? Obviously, I set out that this group should be concentrating on what we can do. As I said, I appreciate there are strongly held views about hospital beds, but I don't really want discussions about that in this meeting. So, has anyone else got any other views or any? I know Mary and Frank, obviously you're passionate about the beds, but has anyone else got anything else they want to say? Or?
Can we put that to bed for now?
Yeah.
Very
Okay.
cunning.
We
All right.
haven't taken apologies, but I have apologies from Christopher Maycock, and he's asked me to make a specific contribution at a later stage
Okay. We've
on
also
his
got,
behalf.
thank you. We've also got apologies from Kerry Ross and a couple of updates on her later on.
So, American, just ask what it is, or where in the agenda you want to talk about what Chris has asked you to raise.
He has some comments on the proposal that we talked about last week to for the future of the general practices in Crediton and whether they might be brought together, where they would be cited, etc.
I'm aware of that, and I've got a copy of the email as well, so we can jointly cover that. Okay, so can we go to the minutes of the last meeting? Has anyone got any issue with the accuracy of the minutes? And if not, then I will go through the actions.
The only comment I'd make was the two JHs on the...
There are, aren't there? There's a Joe Harris and a John Higgs. So,
I'm credited with making a lot more contribution than I actually did. So
okay, thanks.
maybe we should say JSH in future.
Yeah, thanks for picking that out. John. We'll maybe make you, well actually, the other JH isn't here today, but if there are meetings in future when you're both here, we'll
I
have
might say she's far more qualified than I am.
We'll have JHS.
All right, okay. So going on to the actions. So on the top of page.
Sorry, Dr. Dave, could I just?
Sorry, you can call me Alex.
Oh, Alex. On page 3, I mean, I've no right to comment because I wasn't here. On page 3, second sentence, should it be sitting or citing?
That should be citing.
Yes, because it reads sitting around health and well-being hubs is crucial. So,
Yeah.
well, I do agree with that to some extent, but probably it's not what you meant.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, so top of page 4, the first action was for Charlotte to share needs analysis with Joe and Pete. I think you've done that, haven't you? We'll probably cover a little bit of that on the agenda a bit later. Gemma to send a link for the building note, and Jesna to all of the group with the minutes. That's been done. Top of page 5, minutes to go to the neighbouring parish councils. Gemma was to contact Zoe Lendl.
I contacted Zoe Lendl and asked her for the relevant contact, but I've not heard back from Zoe Lendl yet, so I'm waiting.
So, sorry, just a point of information. It's actually Zoe Lentel, Lentell.
Okay, yes, no, I did contact the right person because I found her email online, but thank you.
Yeah.
Can change that.
But she hasn't got back to you.
Me, no.
Because I don't think we've had these minutes circulated to
No, because
parishes.
she hasn't given me the details, so I need someone to advise who I need to send them to.
I will see what I can dig out. So if I've got your email, I'll send them to you.
Okay, I'll write it down for you.
Thank you. I'll see what I can find because I've got some on my computer.
Brilliant.
Having contacted a lot of the parishes in the past.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Thank you, Margaret.
Okay, thank you, Margaret.
Further to, this is still page 5, paragraph 3, talking about the cafe, and that was raised as something that the League of Friends might contribute to. And I did say at the time that we had actually already provided cafe equipment in connection with the use of this part of the hospital for people at the dementia clinic. And we did provide it, and it is still there, and it is in working order.
Maggie, remind me, it was more about the running of the cafe, wasn't it?
It was more about providing volunteers to staff any such facility, I think, which was the question. Was it Michelle who spoke to you?
It was mentioned at the last meeting.
It was mentioned at the last meeting,
yes.
yes. So it was more about
We're
that.
exploring it at present, aren't we? We're just looking at various options. We're not asking for, no, Mary, we're aware that was purchased previously and all this room and so on. No, we're very well aware that we're trying to build on what's been actually provided
I
before.
cannot imagine us finding volunteers to help you. I really can't. I'm looking for a volunteer to act as treasurer and other committee members, but we're all getting older and fewer, and I just can't imagine us providing volunteers.
Yeah, I think that was more the question, wasn't it? About whether there was any way that League of Friends could help volunteer to staff it rather than provide any more equipment.
If you're going on to that topic, Alex, then in fact Angie Radford of Neighbourhood Friends has suggested that she might be able to provide a volunteer if the League of Friends are unable to. So we would be able
I think that's much more likely.
Okay, that's great. So what do we need to do to progress that?
I think that is all encompassed really within the paper that's going to CSEC today.
Yeah.
And
Sorry,
so
yes,
if we get an agreement there, then some of these things will all slot into place.
Yeah, sorry, because we jumped ahead a little bit actually, haven't we?
Yeah.
So that because the action was this action should be kept on our agenda.
Yeah.
There was a paper that was supposed to go to NDHT's executive team shortly after we met last time, but for a number of reasons it didn't. But it is going today, and it's really we're hoping that it will allow us to get the voluntary sector into not just Crediton, but other hospitals, other hubs.
I can report that the leg ulcer clinic is going ahead anyway,
Yeah.
and then that the staff are actually moving into the room today, so we will be getting that up and running in the next couple of weeks. We've applied to the League of Friends for some funding for a special couch, and they've very kindly agreed, I believe, so
Yes.
we're waiting for that to happen, which would be great. So the nurses are delighted. It means they'll be able to see a lot more people here and provide a more enhanced service than we had previously. Whether we develop the cafe side or not, that service is
Well,
developing.
we have persuaded the lead nurse to come on our committee, and that I'm sure will be a great help.
Brilliant. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, League of Friends. So if we leave that action open and we can report back next month. Mary, you haven't had your annual AGM yet, have you? Is that in?
No.
Fine.
But are there any issues that you particularly wanted to be raised at the AGM?
I think
Because one that was in our minds last time was this issue about the possibility of a cafe, but I just don't think we can get volunteers. I will raise it at the AGM, but that's all I can do.
that'd be great if you could, Mary, because I'm really keen for the League of Friends to be as vibrant and involved in whatever's going on here as possible. It sounds like, as you're saying, that the numbers in the League of Friends are dwindling.
We're a bit old for vibrating too.
You're never too old, Mary, never too old.
Don't share that.
Okay, was there anything else in particular that anyone could think that would be useful for Mary to take to the AGM?
Which is next week, by the way.
If anyone,
When is it, Mary, next week?
It's 14th, isn't it? It's a week, 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
Mary, sorry.
yes, this week.
Is that too?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
it's 14th and the
Monday
16th.
week.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
thanks for that.
Okay, well, if anyone thinks of anything in particular that it might be useful to for Mary to take to the AGM, then is it best to email you, Mary, or?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So going down to the next actions, Gemma to send out a list of service with the minutes. That was done, I believe. Kerry to use Pete Toomey's letter with regarding primary care hub proposals for a draft press release.
I don't think that's been done, Alex. I don't think that Kerry has been able to finalise the next newsletter either. So I will raise that with her when I return.
Okay, thank you. And the next one was Gemma to remind Active Devon of future meeting dates, and here they are. Okay, fine. And on the back of page 6,
It's not me.
I can never get a signal in this.
It's not me, sorry.
Okay. Charlotte to share feedback from the hub event with the minutes of the meeting. That was done as well. Okay. Right. Lorraine, shall I hand over to you for 5-10 minutes, and you can then go from there.
Yeah, I haven't really declared anything because I thought I could be a little bit more structured about it if we came to another meeting and sort of getting an idea on what the group's aims and objectives are from sort of today. I know a few faces around